Welcome to WYCE's Community Close-Up, our weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyper-local news service here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. Community Close-Up brings you a diverse perspective from community leaders throughout West Michigan. This is WYCE Station Manager Phil Tower. It is a pleasure to welcome in studio with us on this episode Steff Rosalez, CEO of Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities. Steff and I have emailed, we've been to meetings together, but this is the first time we're having a conversation on the radio. It's long overdue. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have a history of working together with some of your students at the Cook Arts Center who have done radio shows at WYCE. Sidebar, Steff, we got to start that again. So I want to do that again. I want to get your students over here because it is one of the most fun things about community radio is bringing young people in.
Yes.
And having them see this creative environment. And it's really what you guys are all about. I know a lot of our listeners are familiar with Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities. You have two main facilities on the southwest side of GAAH. We had a meeting there, as a matter of fact, for the ACCGR, which is a long acronym for a very important...
The Arts and Culture Council of Grand Rapids.
Thank you for getting that out.
Yep.
And which building was I in?
You were at the Cook Arts Center.
Okay.
Yep. And our other facility is the Cook Library Center, and they're both located on Cesar Chavez Avenue, formerly known as Grandville Avenue, just south of Wealthy Street.
What I love about what you all do at Grandville Avenue for Arts and Humanities is you focus on care and belonging, discovery and advocacy, really about helping the young people you work with become the fullest version of themselves. Did I get that mostly right?
I love that you said that, but yes, that's exactly right. Yes, we have, between our two facilities, we have several programs, but in every program, we prioritize making sure youth and families know that they belong there and that they're cared for, that they are discovering something, whether it's education, creative expression, something about themselves or the world around them, and that we advocate for them and they know that there's always someone in their corner. That's really the core of what we do.
In the kids you have at Grandville Avenue for Arts and Humanities, whether they're at the Library Center or at the Cook Arts Center, how do they become students, how they become integrated into your programming?
Well, we focus very much on the neighborhood that we're in. So that's the Roosevelt Park and Black Hills neighborhood. So anyone who lives in the neighborhood or goes to school in the neighborhood can access our programming for free. So we have a lot of neighborhood kids, a lot of neighborhood school kids, and that's usually the main in for people to come to our programming. But we actually are open to everyone, even if you don't live in the neighborhood. So if you are interested in Mexican folkloric dance or becoming a DJ on YCE's radio show, or any of the other classes or opportunities we have, you can still sign up to be a member, and then there's a sliding scale fee for whatever class or program you sign up for. So we are open to everyone.
GAAH.org. I want to give that website a lot because I really encourage you to check out what they are all about. GAAH.org. And maybe you even want to get involved. We'll be talking about that in just a moment because as we are talking here, and this is airing on the radio toward the end of the year, there are lots of things coming up, including a winter semester at Grandville Avenue for Arts and Humanities, the winter session. One of the things I love about the whole concept of what you do, bringing your mission to life, care and belonging, young people are really trying to find their way in the world. And when you throw a heavy dose of social media and just the world we're living in right now, Steff, which is not an encouraging place.
It is not.
Thank goodness for places like Grandville Avenue for Arts and Humanities. Talk about that and how you kind of instilled that sense of care and belonging and really helping these people discover kind of how they can really thrive in this world.
Yeah, thanks for naming that because it's true. Young people, I wouldn't want to be a teenager right now, I can tell you that. The world looks very different and young people are grappling with a lot of things that we didn't have to grapple with when we were young. But yeah, we have several different programs, and depending on the program, we have a teen program, we have an after-school arts program, we have summer camps, we have a Cook Library after-school program, tutoring, and depending on the need or depending on how the student shows up, really our number one priority is to get to know people. You can't really support someone unless you know them, so getting to know people is our number one priority, and really helping understand, helping us understand what is your need, what is your talent, what is your special gift, who are you, and then we're able to, really work with individuals and families to get what they need and also make sure that they shine bright. We have a lot of very talented, really amazing neighbors and kids. I'm always reminded at the end of a session when we have our showcases or our performances, and kids get up there and just amaze me every time.
Steff, you've been involved with Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities since 2011, right?
Yeah, I've been there a very long time.
So let's rewind and let's get a little personal here. How did you first learn about them, and what was your first role there?
Oh, wow. Trip down memory lane. I used to work at Cesar Chavez Elementary back when it was Hall School, actually. And I worked in the Loop program. And so I started working in the schools in that neighborhood. And after working in the schools for a while, I discovered Grandville Avenue Arts and Humanities and was like, oh, wow, what is this place? It feels very magical, and it feels like the place that I want to be as an artist and a musician myself. So I just went over and checked it out and eventually started working there. My first role there was a program director at the Arts Center. So okay. I was developing and implementing programs on the ground with the kids.
When did you know? Remember how little you were? What age you said, I want to be an artist, or you wanted to play music? Was there somebody who inspired you in your family?
It was just an always. I always was a creative kid and a creative person. And it's funny because in high school, we didn't have a lot of opportunities in the city I grew up in, Elma, a town, not really a city.
Yeah.
So I played a lot of sports. And then when I went to college, I studied art, and I was like, oh yeah, this is where I'm meant to be. Right. Studio arts, art history, music.
I think some people are just born with the arts in their soul. And I would think you're probably one of those people.
Thanks. It feels that way.
I can't imagine you, Steff Rosalez, as a non-creative, non-artistic, beautiful human being. I can't.
Thanks, Phil. I can't imagine it either. I'm like, who am I if I'm not an artist? I don't know.
Full disclosure, Steff is the front person for the band How to Live Together, a band you hear on WYCE.
Oh yeah, thanks for that shout out.
And great music talent. It's really... You're a super talented person leading Grandville Avenue for Arts and Humanities, and I think you can't not have a passion for the arts in your role, and that really, from the opportunities I've had to see you, especially in the meetings I've been involved with, that really shines through. I want to use the remaining time of our program to allow you to speak with our WYCE listeners to talk about how they can get involved as we turn into 2026, which is kind of frightening. New calendar year, people are looking for new opportunities. You're always looking for donors this time of year because your programming does have a real cost. I stole some great statistics from your website. A $50 donation will help with math and literacy materials and books for your library. $200 donation will cover art supplies for a week of art classes. A $250 donation will pay for a guitar amp for your wonderful, awesome, most badass program. I just said that on the radio, Girls Rock. And we've done programs dedicated to Girls Rock on WYCE, and it's just a wonderful thing. But that's how you can pay it forward and support Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities. But what about volunteers? What would you like our listeners to know and how they can support you and your mission?
Yeah, thanks for that. We, more than anything, being physically together in community spaces is something that everyone needs right now. The political climate, the way the world is, We spend a lot of time on our phones. We spend a lot of time scrolling. And when you get out and volunteer in community, meet people, talk to people, help a kid with their homework, help us walk kids over from the school, it makes a world of difference, not just for us, but for you as well. You can connect with real humans in your community. That feeling of isolation or being afraid of one another, it really dissipates when you spend time in community with people. And so we have this really amazing opportunity for everyone to connect through volunteering. You can help in arts classes, you can help students with their homework, and sometimes it's just as simple as getting to know other people who you wouldn't know otherwise. So we start our winter session in mid-January. We have after-school classes, after-school tutoring, and we are looking for volunteers all the time. So you can also go to our website to sign up to volunteer, GAAH.org. GAAH.org, and you can fill out a form there and we'll get in touch with you and you can come on out and hang out with some kids, experience some joy, which I know we all need, especially in January when it gets kind of hits that point of it's been dark for a very long time and we're all struggling with that. So yeah, I hope we get some listeners to come join us and spend some quality time in community.
You just said something very profound. The world doesn't look so disappointing and discouraging when you see it through the eyes of a child and a young, hopeful
It is true.
Student at Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities. And you can make the place better by paying it forward, by being involved, whether it's a tutor or you want to help with a creative end, like you got involved in the arts end of things. And your ages, you work with teens as well too, right?
Yes, we do.
It's really important that you consider that. Again, as you heard Steff Rosalez say, CEO of Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities, the website is where you can learn more, GAAH.org or GAAH.org, and you can make a secure donation there as well. Real quickly, we've covered a lot of different things. Is there anything I didn't ask you want to share with our WYC listeners?
I think I just like to brag about having the youngest DJs on air at YCE. Our partnership,
Please do.
Our partnership allows for that. I think the other thing I'd say is our Girls Rock Grand Rapids album was released earlier this fall. So you can find them on Spotify if you just go to Girls Rock Grand Rapids, or if you listen to YCE, you'll probably hear some of our Girls Rock Grand Rapids songs here too.
That is fantastic. And you can also support that through GAAH.org. Steff Rosalez is the CEO of Grandville Avenue for the Arts and Humanities. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Phil.
We will do this again. She's been our guest in WYCE's Community Close-Up, the weekly public affairs program where we produce, along with the Rapidian here, our hyper-local news service at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. That's our program for this week here on WYCE. Thank you for tuning in.